Hey, it's Viviana, and let's shoot some film. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm a film photographer, and I love talking and showing you a little bit more about film photography. And if you've been here before, welcome back. And I'm so happy to bring you along back to Monterey Bay in California, where I'm from. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I've been living in Mexico once again, and I had just recently went to visit family and friends back home. And I'm so happy to be in one of my most favorite places to photograph, and that is in Pacific Grove. And this is my cousin Mila. She's letting me take her portraits once again. It brings me so much joy. One, two. Nice. And of course, I brought along my Rolleiflex T. I was thinking about also bringing my Mamiya, but it's too much weight. Too much weight to travel with. At the beginning of the photo shoot, I was a little worried the sun was coming out, and I was really craving the overcast weather. It just makes photographing and printing later on so much easier. Just that perfect lighting is what I really have missed since I live in Mexico, where it's always sunny, especially right now. Okay, that looks so beautiful. Why don't you look slightly up, or like lift your, like you're looking up there. Yeah, perfect. I was really surprised to see so much grass everywhere, but normally it didn't look like this. A lot has happened in 1 year. Later on, someone asked me through an Instagram comment if I was afraid of the ticks. Nice. That didn't even cross my mind. What did was poison oak, though. That's what I was keeping an eye out for. And now we are back in Mexico in my home darkroom. And did I mention how it's sunny and hot here right now? It is. That's why I have all this ice. It really, really, really matters the temperature of your chemistry and the water when you are developing your roll of film. You want to keep that in mind. It's very, very, very important. And on the day that I was taking portraits of my cousin, I did shoot 2 rolls of film, but they were different ISO. So first, I am developing the Kodak TMX 100 ISO. And yes, even after 12 years, I need to follow my notes. It's just so easy to get distracted in the dark room. At least it is for me. It's easy to drift off, and you cannot do that. Times are very important. And here I'm making a fresh new batch of Stop bath. I am using Ilford. And my mom just gave me these gloves. I love them. They were so comfy. The previous pink ones I had, I accidentally cut the tip of a finger off. Luckily they were big on me, so I did not cut myself. So that was really good. And now that I have the right temperature for the water, I can put in my Stop bath. And I'm pretty sure this was clean already, but it never hurts to clean a little bit more. And if you've never used this will be your next
best friend in the darkroom. This is the massive developing chart, and I've used this since I was in college. It's so handy when you have to get the right times combining your type of film and the type of chemistry that you're using, which I mean the developer. And in this case, using the Kodak TMX 100 ISO and the Kodak XTOL. Keep in mind the ISO again because it gives you different variations. It gave me 7.25 minutes for the developing time, and I'm using a stock version of the developer. And of course, this next step will be in complete darkness, so I like to keep my space very clean and organized so I don't have anything in the way. And of course, I have to write down the time that I just mentioned earlier because I will forget. And I'm just gonna put it right over here with my notes, the same notes I've been following for years. Like I said, I drift off and think about other things, daydream, and I cannot do that when times are very important when developing film. And I like to do a pre-soak with water in my film. I think others don't do this, but I learned in school to do it, so that's just something I've been doing for many years. And I'll just let this sit for about a minute. I know I'm agitating it here. I do not know why I was doing that, but normally I just let it sit. And you normally always get really cool colors. Let me show you. I was about to throw it out, but I want to show you. I have a really dark teal color. I always think it's exciting. Okay, now for the developer, I am going to kind of talk about it, but I'm also going to write down below all the instructions, the notes that I'm following. So the developer that I pour in here, what I will be doing is I agitate the film continuously for the first 30 seconds, then I agitate for 10 to 15 seconds every 30 seconds. And I am using the developer XTOL from Kodak. And it's the stock solution. I think I mentioned it before, but just in case, it's the stock version. For years, I would always use Ilford multigrade, but is it the multigrade or is it the Ilford 3? I always get them confused, but long story short, now that I live in Mexico, I can't find it anymore, or it's hard to get, so I've been using Kodak again, and I really love it. They're awesome. Both of them are great developers. And I'm always rinsing, washing. I think it's very important to keep everything nice and clean. It's so easy to cross-contaminate. And I'm doing this for 7 minutes and 25 seconds. So it does get a little boring, but that's why it's so important to have good music playing. Now after this, the first roll of film, because I couldn't remember if I could reuse the developer, I did pour it down the drain. But for the second roll that I developed later on, I poured it back into the developer container. And I hope that was okay. I kind of Googled it and it said you could reuse this developer. So I hope I was right. If I made a mistake, let me know. Now, shortly after, it's the stop bath. But before I do that, I quickly fill the tank with water. And once I pour the water out, then I put the stop in. And I let it sit for, I agitate continuously for about a minute. After I pour the stop bath back into the container, because I can reuse that, I do the fixer. And we pretty much follow the same steps as we did with the developer, which is filling the tank with fixer, agitating it for the first 30 seconds continuously, then you agitate 10 to 15 seconds every 30 seconds. And you can reuse the fixture, you just pour it back in. Whatever you do, do not pour it down your drain. Even if it's exhausted, if you can't use, if it's not good anymore to use, still don't pour it down your drain. You can recycle that or take it to get disposed of correctly. And after the fixer, fill it up with water. And you see that I kind of was doing some ice there. I thought it was important to get the same temperature, but then later I figured out that it didn't really matter at that point, the temperature, the negatives couldn't get damaged. But that was my thinking at that moment. I could have been wrong. But if you stay around for a little bit longer, you'll see how the negatives turned out. And I'm using this to wash my film. I love this little thing. I've had it for a couple of years now. And if you don't have it, no biggie at all. You just refill your container, the tank, with water and pour it out for a rather long time, maybe like 10 minutes, the same amount of time that I'm going to put the steel tank in here for, which is 10 minutes. This is such an exciting and yet scary time, seeing what's inside. Of course, you can't really get a good idea because it's all, in there still, but you kind of want to sneak in a little peek. And if you've never used this before, I think you'll love it. It's photo flow, and you need just very, very little bit of drops of this in your water, and it kind of resembles like soap, but what it does is that it reduces watermarks, which is awesome. My negatives look so good after this. And like I said, little goes a long way. You don't need that much. Okay, you guys, I think we're ready. But first, let me show you the consistency I was talking about, the little soap effect. So don't use too much. And here we go, you guys. This is what we have. And I love it. Look at the contrast. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. So happy. Also, I was a little worried because at some point at one of the airports, they made me put the film through the x-ray. So I was kind of nervous about that, but looks good. And yes, I did use my fingers to take the excess of water off, but nothing's ever done harm for my film. It's okay. It's okay. And I think that's also thanks to the photo flow. Now, I will be leaving this to hang for the rest of the day, but it doesn't take a whole day to dry, obviously. But at this point, I'm too tired, and I will see you the following day. Which is right now. And this is the reason why I keep shooting film. I just love these darkroom moments. It brings me so much joy. Really easy way to know that your film's still kind of wet is if you're having a really hard time putting the negatives in through the plastic sleeves, then they're not completely dry. Just, letting you know. I just remember in school, I would be so impatient. I would just want to, get my film ready and get going. And sometimes that would happen. So it's worth the wait. And this is what we have, you guys. They look so beautiful, and I'm so excited to make the contact sheet and, of course, to make a final print. And I will be filming and bringing you along as well. It's going to be hard to choose what print to make first, but that's why I'm making the contact sheet. I've learned my lesson. It's so important to make that contact sheet just to get a better visual. Also, I was a little nervous about the sharpness of the photos. I lost a lens to my glasses, so that was a little scary. My vision isn't that bad, but still, I was a little nervous, but they look pretty sharp to me. And thanks again for being here with me. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like it. And if you really, really liked it, make sure to subscribe. All right, thanks you guys. Until next time, I'm really happy to share my darkroom with you guys. All right, bye.